Does the term sex appeal have any direct relationship to a comedian's popularity?
I don't know, really. I find that hard to equate sex appeal. Of course, it depends again on what kind of material you do.
They all said we never could be happy. They laughed at us and how. But ho, 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 who's got the last laugh now?
And you are checking out The Life of Ryely. My name is Riley Laurence. This is my weekly podcast. I welcome you from www.borntokillcomedy.com, Facebook Born to Kill Comedy, or YouTube Born to Kill Comedy. Either way, I welcome you to the show. This week I've got a very interesting topic I'm going to talk about. But before I start the show, I always like to remind my viewers that this is a self-funded internet broadcast. What does that mean? It's a good question. I think I made that up. That means, as I've mentioned before, I am funding this, but I'm not only funding this for now. What I have here is a 100-year contract that I'm actually funding my internet broadcast for 100 years. The information is right there, not that it matters, which means I'm going to be leaving a legacy behind. So regardless of whether or not the big studios are interested, or the small studios are interested, or any studio for that matter is interested, my legacy will continue. Into the future, 100 years, I set up a trust fund. I have internet guarantee, provided the internet's here for 100 years. In which case, even in posthumously, I would like my money refunded, and perhaps, no, just, anyway. So this you're actually watching will actually be broadcast for 100 years, which might make it the longest running series ever, for sure, guaranteed. That's for sure. I had a one episode with a 100-year guarantee, which is not a bad deal. If only I can get paid for it, that would be even better. But anyway, welcome to the show. And I welcome people from the future. I've never done that before. People of the future, I welcome you. And hopefully at some point, right? At some point down the line, in 20 years, I'll have a full head of hair, right? We would have gotten that nailed down. Not that it bothers me. It's shaved, and I call that a choice. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? It's something that's very dear to my heart. I want to talk about dating because living in Los Angeles as I do, dating is a real problem. I'm going to light up for this because this is a tough topic. You know, it just occurred to me. I wonder what Freud would say. I mentioned dating and then I had to light a cigar. Well, I was going to light the cigar anyway. I wasn't sure I was going to talk about dating today, but sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Anyway, dating in Los Angeles is very difficult. It's interesting because my mother, I guess she wants me to settle down already. I can't blame her. But I try to explain to her what it's like in Los Angeles, and she doesn't understand. At this point, I'm just ready to settle. Forget about settling down. I'm just ready to settle. In Los Angeles, you get to the point of settling. Forget about settling down. But it's interesting because she called me. She called me and left one of these messages on my machine, and she says, when are you going to find a nice girl and say I do? I thought about it, and I had to call her back and say, Mom, I said, I'm in Los Angeles. I need to just find a girl that say I will first, right? They can't say they don't say I do until they will. I need them to say I will before they say I do, because if they don't, they won't. So if they will, then I do. But it's not It's not always that easy. But, it's interesting. My good friend out here, and we talk about this constantly, what it's like to date in Los Angeles. And why is it different in Los Angeles from anywhere else? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that question. I can only tell you from my own experience. And that experience has definitely left me a little jaded. That's for sure. For some reason, where do you meet girls? Like, it's very difficult. Some people nowadays, everybody meets online. They want to go on online dating sites or this or that. I was never an online person, but I got a buddy, and he's, it's funny. He tells me, why don't you just try casual encounters from Craigslist? First of all, let me tell you something about Craigslist, right? Anything that goes on Craigslist is one of the seediest, dirtiest. There's nothing casual, right, about anything on Craigslist. You want to buy it, somebody wants to buy an iPhone, right? And they sell an iPhone, and they tell you, don't go alone. You got to meet in a public place. You have to bring a friend with you. Tell people where you're going. There's nothing casual, right? There's never been anything casual about Craigslist. It's definitely, I couldn't imagine going to somebody's house for a sexual encounter that you met in casual encounters. Oh, I casually met them on the casual Craigslist. Meanwhile, people getting robbed, killed, beaten, and stabbed off of Craigslist. I'm gonna go hook up with somebody on Craigslist. I don't think so. There's nothing casual. That's a misnomer. There's nothing casual about any encounter on Craigslist. Oh, I met somebody on Craigslist. How was it? Oh, it was casual. It was very casual. Really? Jesus Christ. It just doesn't happen. So where do you meet them, right? And you meet a friend, or you get hooked up, or whatever it is. Finally, I've had a series of bizarre first dates. And one of the things I find interesting is that there's an industry standard, right? There's an industry standard for everything in Los Angeles. The industry standard for dating is sushi. For whatever reason, that's just where, chicks like to go. They want to go to sushi. And there seems to be a magic number. You can't get out of a sushi dinner for less than $130. Why it's $130, I don't know. Sometimes it's $125, $135, but it's always right around that $130. A couple of drinks, some sushi rolls, parking, maybe a nightcap, but it's always $130. And I'm not a cheap date, but I'm not going to drop $130 again, right? It gets cost-worthy, but they always want to go for sushi, except now sushi's out because the radiation from Japan, which is a problem. Ironic that Japan would be poisoning us with radiation, and we would have cause to complain. A little hypocritical, since we dropped the bomb twice on them and eradicated hundreds of thousands of people with radiation. It's a little strange that we have room to complain that we can't eat fish after we destroyed a nuclear holocaust with them. But I'm not going into that. My point is, nowadays you can't eat that Fukushima, fuck a sushi, right? Whatever it is, fuck a sushi up. Fukushima, fuck a sushi, because you not eat a sushi now. And chicks are walking around. You tell them they want to go for sushi. They're walking around with a Geiger counter and a lab coat on, right? You have to walk around with a Geiger counter to see where you can eat nowadays. And I'm Jewish, all right, as most of you know. Most Jews don't eat regular sushi. Like, Jewish sushi for me is tempura roll, chicken teriyaki, Kobe steak with asparagus tips. If I'm venturous, I will... venturous is not a word. Adventurous? Adventurous? I'm going to say it. I'm going to use that word, venturous. And if it's not a word, I'm going to coin it right now. Venturous, meaning you're venturing to be adventurous. And if I am venturous, I'll have a California roll. Yeah, why not? I prefer it with imitation crab. Better than imitation crab, I prefer it with chicken. Well done. No seaweed wrap. But not because it's not a religious thing. It's just why take a chance, right? Why take a chance on any kind of a foodborne illness? Raw fish. It's just who needs it? But not chicks. Chicks are very adventurous. They will eat anything, and they'll order the unagi, the usaki, the hamaki, rohaki, kanishaki, whatever it is. It's urchin and salmon roe on top of raw fish, and I'm looking at this chick, and I'm just thinking, yeah, you know, I really don't want to get anywhere near you. You think I want to kiss this girl at the end of the night? She's got unagi and urchin breath with some raw. You got a little salmon egg. They cut the fish open, they take the eggs out. You got some of that in your tooth, sweetheart. No, not for me. And they always want to share, right? First of all, they want to order stuff that I don't even know. You figure in there, $9 a roll, right? Okay, I'll take a roll, $9. No, not that roll. Now you don't get a $9 roll. You don't get a $9 roll from them. They're ordering I don't even know. It's like, one time some girl ordered the tuna. Right, the tuna, but it was like turbo or tumo or something. It gave me a tumor. It was like $27 for three tiny slices of tuna. And anyway, God, you walk in there, and the guy yells at you, right? The guy says you're getting yelled at right away. You walk in, I don't know what they're yelling. The guy yells at you, oh, look at you, right? You walk through the kitchen, they're all yelling, oh, look at her titties. I don't know, you just saying, what did you say? You don't know. Listen, I grew up in a Jewish family. I got yelled at by my mother every time I walked through the kitchen. I don't need to get more of that as I walk through. I'm going to pay $130. Why are you going to yell at me? I'd be yelling at you on the way out. $130. But yeah, I don't know what it is with these girls, you know, and now they don't want the sushi. So you think, what's the other thing you go for in LA? You go for Mexican food, right? They go for Mexican. But here's the thing about Mexican: the food now has to be consciously raised without GMOs or GMFs, or now they're all big on Facebook with the GMF thing, and that's just unacceptable to me, because first of all, I don't understand. You know, these are girls that they're loaded up with silicone. They go for Botox parties, Hotox, Motox, Showtox, Photox, whatever it is that they're going for. They're loaded up with silicone and Botox, and they can't eat the rice bowl at Chipotle Grill because some farmer cross-pollinated, or they made the rice a better quality rice, so they can't eat it now, because that's unconscionable for them to eat that. Meanwhile, they're getting vajazzled and Brazilian and filled with silicone. And what am I going to tell them? I can't touch you, sweetheart, because you're loaded with silicone. You're a GMF. You're a genetically modified girl, a GMG. You've got, what is that? You've been vajazzled now. They vajazzled the vajayjay, and they're loaded with silicone. And I mean, this girl can't. This is a girl who in college swallowed down more salty semen than the Bermuda Triangle. Okay, and she now can't eat the rice bowl at Chipotle Grill because the rice has been genetically modified. Well, you've been genetically modified too, sweetheart, but I'm not complaining, right? I don't think the kids are complaining when they're getting silicone-infused milk from mama's boobies, but that's a whole nother story. Then they become gluten-free. Gluten-free is another big thing. All of a sudden, everybody is gluten intolerant. They're gluten-free, lutein-free, not lutein, right? They're still lutein. Girls in LA are looting. They're lutein for sure, but they're not. They're gluten intolerant. Is it free from gluten and rice? And I have to have potato vodka, of course, Chopin. Right? The vodka has to come from a potato all of a sudden, because that's what's making them fat. It's the rice vodka or the grain vodka. They can't have it the way it's distilled. I need a triple distilled Cosmopolitan that's made from potato vodka, Super Chopin. Meanwhile, what's the Ocean Spray cranberry you mix in there? It's only 10% juice. It's 90% gluten in Ocean Spray and 10% juice, but they never complain. They only need the good vodka, right? It's how it has to be. Meanwhile, let me tell you something. If they made an announcement tomorrow that gluten increased the bust size of girls, nobody would be gluten-free. They would be gluten-tolerant. They'd be loaded with gluten maximus, right? That's what they should say. Gluten increased bust size would be amazing, right? That would be amazing. Nobody would be gluten-free anymore, right? Nobody would be gluten-free. Oh my God. Yeah, so I'm just venting about this because this is my life, and this is what it's like in Los Angeles. This is what it's like, and maybe I'm a little bitter. I don't know. The world has gone crazy. The world has just gone crazy. I wanted to go to the doctor and ask about, for this interview, I wanted to ask about the gluten. I can't even get in to see my doctor anymore. I'm not even allowed to make an appointment to see my doctor because of Obamacare and this and that and whatever, but it just makes me nuts. And my medical benefits, that'll be a whole nother topic that I'll do. But I'll tell you, I told this girl, I said, we went out on a first date, and I was explaining this to her, and they don't really understand everything. And I said, I'm looking for friends with benefits. Why not? Friends with benefits. And after the date, we went downstairs, and we were sitting in the car park, and I was telling her goodnight. And next thing I know, she reaches over, she starts to unzip my fly. And I'm, whoa, I said, you're moving a little fast. What is going on here? She said, I thought you wanted friends with benefits. And I said to her, yeah, I was talking medical benefits. It's a different world we live in. Maybe I'm a little bit older, but I can get a blowjob anywhere in Hollywood for $20. It's $40 to get in for a copay to see my doctor. Anyway, folks, dating. It ain't easy. I'll keep you posted. My friend wanted me to go on J-Date, and we'll see what happens. But that is another episode. I will see you next time. You are watching The Life of Ryely. My name is Ryely Laurence. www.borntokillcomedy.com and Facebook, Born to Kill Comedy. Until next time, peace.